Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is so I'm watching The Fall of Rahul Kohli. No, The Fall of the House of Usher, episode 4.
The Black Cat.
This was rough for me. I didn't look at the camera for a lot of it.
The worst part for me was the shelter. I don't do shelters. I
Especially
have a sensitive
They
heart.
made a
Kill
point.
shelters,
Yeah.
I have a sensitive animal heart.
Yeah, can't do
Unless
it.
they're chimpanzees. Those are fuckers.
No, I mean, they don't deserve that torture, the chimpanzees. But it's like, I don't like the dogs and cats are going to kill shelters. Hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So enough about that.
Yeah.
Rodrick has what is the disease called?
Cardisil, something like that.
And that is real.
I don't know.
It feels real. I was going to say, leave it to Mike Flanagan.
He said
I've
vascular dementia. That sounds real.
Leave it to Mike Flanagan because I have largely acclimated. It doesn't, I mean, it startles me and it upsets me, but it doesn't actually scare me anymore.
So far, I think this one is the least spooky.
And leave it to him to find a way to actually scare me.
Yeah.
Because that's terrifying.
Sure. Well, there was like, when he was reading it off to Auguste at the beginning of the series, it was like, there were so many words. There was like the vascular and then encephalopathy and stuff, and it's like
it sounds like not night terrors. What's the when you wake up and you're
sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Well, but it is like it's sort of like night terrors because it's like your sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah. Well, because it's like based on
because it's the bent neck lady.
Based on right. Yeah. But I've like looked into that a little bit, and it's the part of us. It's why we think we see ghosts is because we're genetically programmed to look for human.
Yeah.
And there was a thing.
Are you having it right now?
I wanted to tell a story, but I don't remember enough of it to tell it.
Oh.
Okay. No. I can't. I'm remembering.
Is it the Uncanny Valley thing?
No. It's like that though. A lot of ghost and poltergeist and possession, exorcism things are actually technology based. We subconsciously pick up on frequencies.
Oh, okay.
And our brain fills in blanks, and it has to do with when we lived in caves and stuff that we had to be alert to. Like
intruders
or even collapse and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like we frequently, if you think you see a ghost, or like if you think it weirdly has like a technological explanation.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. I did a medium job. I only explained it.
No,
about
I get what you mean though.
But
I started getting like recently sleep paralysis a little bit where I would like be awake and I could hear Will moving around in the bedroom, but I like couldn't force my limbs to like move and wake up. It was weird.
I dabbled in lucid dreaming.
No, don't do that.
I probably can't afford to lose my mind.
Yeah, let's not.
Well, I think I've experienced lucid dreaming. I guess like twice.
Well, you can like train yourself to do it.
I was doing it
on purpose. Yeah,
I was like doing it. Because actually, I think I've said this before in one of our episodes, but the thing that worked for me is because I read it on like a how-to is you need to pick a tick. Like you need to choose it in your waking life. And
it's sort of like Inception.
You'll start doing it in dreams. And the tick I picked was when I'm going to the bathroom, I'll push my hand on the wall. And one time I did it in a dream. And when I pushed my hand on the wall moved. And I was like, holy, it was really cool, but you can get lost.
Yeah.
I'm okay. My dreams are wild enough. I don't need to be like fully cognizant.
At least once a week, she's telling me about it.
Do you love how I'm like the most, like I purport to be like the most paranoid and the most cautious, but I'm the one that actually goes charging headfirst into the dumbest.
I said it in the last episode and I'll say it again now. It is very eyes closed, headfirst, can't lose energy.
I'm like, we'll be fine. Confidence of a mediocre white man. So Rodrick, and it appears that they didn't know he had this because he like confesses to Madeline
at the end, yeah,
and she kicks into kind of like high gear trying to micromanage it, and I don't know that that's going to happen. I still find Juno utterly fascinating.
She seems to be actually taken with him.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, but those types of Bruce Greenwood is so appealing.
So handsome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I kind of can't get over how gorgeous Ruth is in this, because my introduction to her was Midnight Club, and she was very...
She was not recovering. Well, not recovering.
No, she was terminal.
She was terminal.
Yeah.
So she also was like, had the after effects of chemo, and she was so surly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So surly.
And the robe she was wearing in this. Oh my god.
And her sparkly prosthetic.
Uh-huh. I wish we got a better look at it. I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
But I also I like that though, that how little the fact that she has a prosthetic leg actually factors into her character.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think that's really good representation.
I also do think it's an interesting thing, because I don't know if she like puts it on a little extra or if it just like gets to be that way when you have a prosthetic, but she does kind of lumber a little, and I think it adds a really interesting like depth to all of her characters, that she's just like
His entire...
she's so pretty.
Flanagan's entire troupe, they're all stealthily gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, because even I would say Victoria, but still Carla Gugino, I guess, would be the most classically. I don't know. Because I was gonna say even like Rahul Kohli, who is like. But it's still kind of
getting slippery over here.
It's still kind of I don't know. This episode, I couldn't.
No, with the like cat eye.
I couldn't handle him.
I did cut him in a cat eye, like straight down the middle of it. Yeah, interesting.
I gather,
Yeah.
from what I was able to look at. But no, I couldn't. There's much more love lost for Camille than there is for Leo at this point.
Well, sure, he was being so horrible about the cat. He's got such a dad bod now too.
I just couldn't
Well.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good time.
I just couldn't wrap my mind around Julian. I still found him to be
Julius.
Such a baffling.
Okay, he sucked.
Yeah.
He was very concerned. He wasn't concerned about the cat before, so two of Leo's siblings have died, and he's like, babe, I know you're having like a really hard time, but have you seen the cat? And I was just like, okay, I understand your cat ran away, and it's like a very big deal and everything.
The cat would be my priority in that household as well, so.
Well, but I don't know, what made it make sense to me is that, like, when he was then confronting him about the drugs, Leo was like, you made a deal when you got into this with me. You're not allowed to complain about the drugs. And he was like, I just want you to like think about maybe slowing down. But then Frederick was there, and he was like, he just
resigned.
Like, he's gone. Like, it's...
Which, I mean, having dated people with drug issues myself, I mean, you do kind of like... You're like, yeah, no, I get it. But then when it starts to spiral, and it's like, you already do so many, you're doing too much now.
I'm not excusing.
He was coming off as like the nagging wife in a way where I'm like,
you seem like you're barely boyfriends.
Yeah, this
like,
relationship and your lifestyles leave.
Yeah.
Leave.
Like, leave so fast. And he also just...
Like, how did you even get to this point that you were sharing a bedroom?
I don't know how they even met. It seems insane. And the way that he kept on saying to the cat, like, other daddy, and I was like, no.
That is your cat.
You are misrepresenting your relationship.
Leo tolerates that. It was very strange, but the cat was tormenting him.
Well, Carla Gugino was.
Yeah, and he smashed up the walls with Mjolnir, and then he dove off the balcony and didn't hit the car, thank God. But
I mean,
I didn't like him.
I think it was his car.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah.
I am disappointed. I liked the prospect of bisexual Rahul Kohli, but
this might not be the last we
fully
see of
get enough of that. It's fine. It sounds like I don't like it. I just didn't like him.
No, I mean, I totally get that. The package he comes in did a lot of heavy lifting. I'm just
confused. So why? Like, did you not like him from the beginning? Because this for me was just grief. And he's kind of a douchebag, but I think he's like mostly fine.
Well, because
he was grieving.
He hard walked out of that meeting when they gave him that absolute just
turd
of a statement to give to the press.
Like, I know, we've lost Camille, who was like doing the PR.
Yeah, but it's like, I am saddened by the death of my sister. Like,
come on,
please.
write it like you knew her.
What was the interaction? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of zoned in and out a couple times the episode. What was the weird loaded interaction with Leo and Pim when he started to leave? And
he basically just was like, "Fuck this! You can write me out of the will if you want."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm not doing this." I wasn't playing. He didn't want to play
the game anymore, and so Pim grabbed him. But then Rodrick was like, "No, let him go."
Okay.
So. Well, and then also, like, okay, because the one who's killing me again, and this is 3 in a row, because she fucking blows ass in Hill House as well. I can't with Tamerlane. When she was like, what's her name?
Samantha Slant?
Juno. When she was like, she called her it.
Yeah. Why is it
twice.
talking?
And then she was like, she's not in the will, is she?
I understand the notion of, like, hating a trophy wife.
Sure.
But Juno is so weird.
Yeah.
How can you not be fascinated?
Well, she's also
like, I would be so taken by her.
Okay, I've got multiple things to say because she is so weird, and I would just also be like, interesting.
Yeah.
Weird like, flex, Dad.
What is
like
this?
Weird flex. But
like...
in addition to that, what's very odd to me is she, at this point, she's so much younger than Tamerlane that I'm like, it's not even like a stepmom thing. She's just, you just think of her as a niece. Like, you don't even, you're doing too much. You're the one that's like making this a thing. And then when Juno was like, I'm also still in the room. Like, and also, why wouldn't she be in the will? She's his wife.
Well, and also,
and he seems equally taken with her as she is with him.
Also, like he said, she is his walking success story. Oh, yeah. She is the humanoid version of Ligadone.
Yeah.
So
Pygmalion taught us nothing.
like this, if he could marry that pill, he did. So.
We kind of breezed past it. We didn't mean to, but in the previous episode, Tamerlane and Bill had the call girl come over, Candy, I guess, Verna, and she was really into Bill. Like she
went too hard in her like task.
Okay.
Because for a minute, Tamerlane was very taken aback by it, where it looked like I thought that
she was having like an awakening at first, but I guess she was just making do.
I think she was going to almost intervene, but then she sort of sunk into it.
Okay.
Well, because she saw that Bill was into it, and then that's what she's into.
Is it?
I think so.
I think it's more narcissistic than that. I think she wants to watch herself get f***ed from the outside. That's why the wall behind their bed is all mirrors. I think she wants to see herself get
oh boy.
Yeah.
And so
is this the weird sexual psychological terror that you were talking about? That's how it reads to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was watching Bill's program.
Yeah.
His
programs.
And Verna
was like a gold bug contest winner.
We're on the razor's edge of so many cusps, so many lines with this show, because I'm asking for answers, and I think I only want like 2 of them. I do not want all of them, even though I'm asking for them, because I don't fully have a grasp on Verna. And again, it's like, I don't know that I want to, but I'm sort of like, can they, like, does she look like that? Like, is it?
Well, because
it's giving me Penny Dreadful season 2 with Lily Frankenstein.
Sure, yeah.
Where we were just like, oh, so it turns out they all do just know who she is. They just dyed her hair blonde, and like, because for a while we had just accepted that she
looked different enough.
Yeah, And so there's part of me where I'm like, so I mean, is Verna running around town swapping wigs like an episode of Alias, or is there supposed to be like a magic like
a veil
filter?
So I'm not sure, because Bill insisted that he didn't recognize her, but I couldn't tell if that was a like, I'm trying to save face in front of my wife, or if he truly didn't recognize her. But, well, I think that Bill maybe truly didn't recognize her because I think she's only presenting to the ushers. To the specific Usher siblings.
Okay.
Then that would make sense because
it's their pride that is.
And it's not the spouses or the grandchildren that are involved in it.
Well, except for Morel.
but
She just got hurt though.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was supposed
She's
to
collateral.
leave.
Okay,
She
but
just
again,
didn't
what is
listen.
the quality of life without skin?
Yeah, she was
That's
supposed to
true.
leave, but she didn't.
And
They
we
also-
also didn't mention, because there was talk about back in episode 2 with the acid rain,
Yeah.
that that all the staff left and Madeline was like drilling them, like find
Yeah.
out why. And basically the staff kind of was like, I don't know, I just
don't
got
know,
the
it just
creeps.
sort of felt like it. Yeah.
And they sort of, because Madeline was like, keep pushing, but they also just sort of let that go.
Yeah.
And so again, I don't really have a problem with it, or like I
Well,
don't really.
I think it's now that Madeline and Rodrick have like
They
recognize Verna from
as
the
the security guard.
person, and also they're pretty sure it might be the same person from
Well,
the party,
at least
but
Madeline
she was
is.
wearing the mask. Because
Or the
Madeline
party, yes.
Madeline went and found that bar again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it had a painted raven on the side of the building, and then a real raven landed right in front of it.
We are also, anytime that we're in the 1979 timeline and Rufus, and the thing is, I actually think he's like daddy hot.
He is hot.
But anytime he's on screen, glaze.
His name is Michael Trucco.
I glaze right over. I could not for the life of me understand what was happening with that.
They're like sort of selling Zach Gilford up the river. Yeah.
Once they were like, they're setting you up to take the fall. Once Madeline explained. Once Madeline explained it, I was, if you watch our watch along, I literally watched that whole scene like, so who's forging his name?
Yeah.
Like, and once Madeline was like, they're setting you up to take the fall, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I'm there.
I did like her little metaphor of like, now they've seen you eat shit, that you're not on the inside anymore. That's just nature. And I was like, and then she was like, but you're going to keep eating shit, and then you're going to sell the information.
I'm also fascinated that Rodrick and Dupin.
Just go over French every time you say Dupin.
The fact that they're not pronouncing his name Auguste.
Yeah.
Because every time
There's
they
an
say
E on the
August,
end.
I'm like, Auguste.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're like weird friends, or like the fact that their history runs so deep.
Okay.
Did we know that, or
Well, we knew they had
there
been
was
like involved
implications?
for like
Okay.
years. That scene when Leo like fell out of the sky in front of Rodrick, and he started just yelling at him, and he was like, I was speaking, and then Dupin stood up and was like, absolutely not, don't you raise your voice to me, like all of this stuff, and Bruce Greenwood was like, okay.
Oh, really?
Really fantastic.
Good performance from Bruce Greenwood.
Really good.
I'm happy that it's him.
Yeah. It's really...
Well, and Dupin also looked upset
and scared
and shaken that he had to do that, and it like took him a minute to kind of like calm himself down.
Yeah.
He is insisting Madeline is working in the basement.
Well, there were noises.
Yeah.
There were for sure noises.
And she is a once in a lifetime genius.
Yeah.
Like,
he said 4 or 5 a century.
Yeah.
And
like,
she
got
quit
bored.
Mensa because she was bored.
I was like terrified of her. I now am almost at the point where I'm ready to bend a knee. Like, I'm ready to...
I welcome my Madeline over.
Kind of.
She's pretty great. She's like very interesting, pretty great.
Well, and because Mary McDonald is new to my understanding to this troupe.
Yes.
Because I think I've only really seen her in Scream 4. She's
Well,
Emma
you've seen
Roberts'
Independence
mother.
Day.
Yeah, sure. I forgot we did that.
And
You're
also, she is the president on Battlestar Galactica.
right. Okay.
She's a big deal. She's very cool. And she's very good at doing this role. Victorine also lied her whole entire ass off to Carly Gugino as well.
Yeah.
About how great so I guess it is diagnostic at first, the heart mesh, but then it can fix you.
Checked. It's your Jurassic Park thing.
It is my Jurassic Park science. It makes sense. I believe it.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, why aren't we doing this?
But she oversold it. She made her sign all kinds of stuff, and then she did a real euphemistic justification of doing medical trials in other countries where it was like, well, that's where they need it the most, and I was like, more than here?
So that's how you sleep at
More
night.
than here in America, where we can't afford anything? Sure.
I'm trying to think.
Also, if anybody wants to read a book that's really good and also deals with medical trials in other countries, you should read The Litigators by John Grisham. It is one of my favorites. Like, top 5 Grisham books. It's so good.
I'm also still a little bit split on the 1979 storyline because they have 2 kids. Is that just meant to be Tamerlane?
Yeah.
And Rodrick.
And Rodrick.
And
Frederick.
Frederick is ill, though.
Frederick.
Yeah. He has some sort of illness.
I think he has asthma. So everything that they're talking about is for the lungs.
Echinacea and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Dupin read them for filth.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. That was actually so good. Yeah. Well, and Annabelle, I just okay. Annabelle's got to go because she's very precious.
She's too pure.
Yeah.
She's very, but it's in a very, because of how we're dealing with the rest of the family, her behavior is in a very self-righteous kind of way where she's like, Rodrick, this is wrong. And I'm just like, Madeline, can you just punch her in the tit or something? This is getting out of hand.
I'm trying to think if there's the phone. That's weird too, because the show is insisting it's a plot, and
then Frederick with the cocaine. He came over to Leo while he's in the midst of trying to deal with this cat situation, and he's like, I could really use some drugs, and so he just gives him a bag of a dime bag of cocaine, but it's full to the brim.
Yeah, that was more than
it was a lot.
That was an 8-ball.
Okay, it was a lot of cocaine, and so the way that though he described his feelings, he's like lots of stuff is happening, and my wife is melted. Henry Thomas is really doing something with this role, and I am obsessed.
Well, I'm kind of living for how funny this one is.
It is,
it's very satirical.
Funny. Yeah.
Which I guess you kind of need to do when you're tackling such real and present corruption, like that real world corruption.
Yeah.
That I don't want to watch a serious dramatization about.
No, it works.
Horrible...
It works with Hill House because that's a meditation on grief. Mm-hmm. This is almost cathartic watching terrible people get what's coming to them, what they deserve, because they cannot let go of their pride in order to make the right decision. And it all starts.
Pride cometh before the fall.
That's what I said.
Of the House of Usher. Yeah.
And that's what happened that's what's happening at the top, where it's Rodrick made this original deal, presumably, and it's all coming back on him sixfold because everyone's dying.
I don't understand why the phone matters, because I know Perry gave her the phone, but so when say he cracks the code and opens his phone, and so Perry gave her the phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
What does that have?
Maybe it just would prove. I think that he's gonna get mad that she chose to go to that party, knowing everything about it.
Do what to her?
Well,
I think she suffered enough.
Yeah, I have faith that there's a reason.
Yeah,
but from where I'm sitting, I'm like, okay, so what?
I think the reason that I think Pym wants it is because he needs to have all the information in order to cover stuff up. But yeah, failing that, I have no idea. All the tech jargon where Frederick was all you kids like to hack stuff, right? And then also when
Lenore was you're thinking of hackers.
You're thinking of hackers. And then when Rodrick and Madeline were asking Pym to enhance the picture of Carla Gugino, and he was like, I can't really do that. That's not a thing.
Yeah. But it'll do the opposite of enhancing it. But then they did enhance it. So.
I think in the moment you can't. He had to send it out to some guy. But yeah, it's very funny.
So, I think that's...
Oh, it also, apparently, their mother had the same disease that Rodrick has. That was established at the very end there. He said just like mom, 3 times. So, the vascular dementia is, hereditary, I guess. So, yeah. Pretty good.
We want to watch something scary. Butcher's Block.
Oof. No. Not right now. I am still digging this. I am a little disappointed. We've gotten rid of my 2 favorite siblings already. So, Victorine hanging on by a thread, and then I feel like she's next. So,
all right. Well, we're going to watch it. So, bye.
Bye.